Welcome Bitcoin friends, it's Bitcoin Memo. Today we're going to look at the Bitcoin charts, look at the bullish and the bearish case, look at some possible targets and how to trade them. We'll also take a quick look at gold and silver. Let's get into the charts. So this is Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart, and what I've noticed is we have this pattern forming here, this inverted head and shoulders, and for this pattern to play out we'll need to get above this neckline at 52,200 approximately, and the measured move for that is calculated by just taking the bottom of the head to the neckline and putting it at the breakout point. And if this were to play out, this would take us all the way up to 61,500 approximately. So this is the bullish case. How am I playing this? Well, I'm not in a trade currently, so I am looking to do a breakout trade here at 53,106. And I will put my stop loss when it gets activated below this neckline. So the amount I'm risking is quite small compared to the potential reward. Now this right shoulder could possibly come further down, all the way down to this 0.236 level. And I do have a buy order set here in case we do drop down. And again, I'll use a tight stop loss. So I should explain these fib levels here. This fib level is just from the all-time high down to the bottom of the head here. And you can see we came up right into this golden pocket and got rejected. And currently we're at the 0.382 level, getting a small bounce. And if we do come down to the 0.236 level, it will trigger my buy order for a long position. Another reason I've got my buy order here is if we do the fib retracement here from the bottom of the head to the top that we made, the golden pocket zone is right in this area where my buy order is. So that's the bullish case. Now what about the bearish case in case this pattern doesn't play out? Well, I have this line drawn here, this purple line from the top to the bottom, and this is a AB equals CD pattern. So you can see we came back up into this golden pocket, so this is a valid pattern. And if we just copy the length of this line, put it at the top here, and look at where the possible target could be, this would be all the way down at 37,238. This would also be the 1.618 fib extension of this move. So how am I going to play this bearish case if we do have this big drop? We can see I have lots of orders placed here, and I'm starting with smaller size orders and then increasing as we go further down, just to lower my average buy-in a reasonable amount to the further we drop. And the reason for the highest two orders, if we go on the daily, we can see the 50 moving average and the 50 exponential moving average on the daily here are these two yellow lines. So this is where I've got my first two orders placed. And my next two orders are the fib retracement going from the top here to the bottom here. And this is a golden pocket area. So that's why I have the next two orders placed. The ones after that are obviously catching this measured move. And my lowest order, this green line, is the 21-week exponential moving average. And I see this as the lowest possible point that Bitcoin will drop to. So I'm covering all of these possible targets with this trade setup. And this is not financial advice. You should do your own trades. But this is what I'm doing currently. So that's the bullish and the bearish case and how I'm playing for both directions. So just looking at the Bitcoin CME futures chart now, and this one is slightly different to the spot price. If we were to look at the measured move here, just going from the top to the bottom and then placing it at the highest point here in this golden pocket, we can see that actually using this fib here from the previous low after that 30% pullback to the top, we can see that this measured move actually goes exactly to the golden pocket on the futures chart. And also we have the 50 daily moving average here and the 50 exponential moving average on the daily. We can see there is some confluence with these levels. So we'll be watching this chart also closely, and this level is around 39,935, and this price could differ on the spot price compared to the futures price. So when can we expect a move to the upside or to the downside on Bitcoin? Well, to look at that, we can look at the Bollinger Bands. And basically, when these Bollinger Bands squeeze, it can precipitate a big move coming. So this is just on the 2-hour chart, and we can see they are starting to come together here a little bit. We can see when they did previously, we had this big move to the upside. And also on this occasion, we had this big move to the downside, and also the previous one before that. So if we just go through a few time frames, if we look on the 4-hour chart, we can see that they are squeezing also. So perhaps this move could be coming quite soon. If we also look at the 12-hour chart, we can see quite a big squeeze happening also on the 12-hour chart. And I think the bigger the time frame, possibly the bigger the move. So now let's look at the EMA ribbon. And we can see on the 4-hour chart, we did break below this ribbon and it caused this big drop here. We came back up, tested a few times, got rejected. And then we broke through the ribbon, had a bit of a drop again. We're sort of going up and down between the ribbon. And currently we did get some support here. The bodies of the candles are above the ribbon still. But the more we sort of go sideways here and up and down through the ribbon, the less significant this ribbon becomes as it squeezes together. So if we go on the daily chart, the ribbon is a bit more significant here. It is quite spread still, and we can see we came into the ribbon here, got support, and have gone above it, but each wick is still touching the top of this ribbon. So perhaps we could come back down into the ribbon, and the bottom of the ribbon is at 42,200. So I think a break of this ribbon will cause a quick drop down, and perhaps it will just be a long wick with the body of the candle held above the ribbon when it closes on the day, but we'll just have to watch that and see. We can see during the previous drop here, we came all the way to the bottom of the ribbon and we got support with the bodies never going below the ribbon. We also have this possible pattern here where we're just in this channel. We're bouncing up and down between it, and we can see we touch the bottom here. So possibly we could come up to test the top of this channel again, which would take Bitcoin into the $60,000 range. We're just looking at some moving averages now. This is on the 4-hour chart. The yellow ones are the 50 moving averages, the simple and the exponential, and the red ones are the 200 moving averages. And currently we are getting support on the 50 ones, with the 200 moving averages down at 45.8. If we were to come down and have a drop, perhaps eventually we might get a death cross, which would be when these yellow moving averages break below the red ones. And just looking at the volume profile here, we can see there's not much traded in this range. So we could see a quick drop down, and the measured move as shown on the previous chart would take us down to about 37,300. And we can see that's where the support starts to come in on the volume profile, with the biggest spike here around 33,000, 34,000. So let's just check out the RSI and the stochastic RSI. This is on the daily chart, and we can see the stochastic RSI did cool off all the way down and has started coming back up, but at the moment it looks like it wants to come down again, perhaps similar to the previous drop here where we did come down twice and test the lows. And the RSI is at a 54 reading. We can see here we did make a higher high on the RSI so far compared to this previous drop, but perhaps we could have one more swipe down to this 30 region before getting a bounce, and this would of course create some hidden bullish divergence where perhaps we'll have higher lows on the price action and lower lows on the RSI between the lows here and the new low that would be formed. Looking at a shorter time frame on the 4-hour, we can see that obviously we had this bullish divergence on the 4-hour here, this triple bullish divergence, and the price was going down, and then we had this bounce here. So the 4-hour RSI is currently at a 52 level, and perhaps we could go higher here. There's room to go higher, there's room to go lower, but the stochastic RSI is fairly cooled off down at a 28 level. Just looking at the 6-hour stochastic RSI, we can see it does still have room to come down, and it is pointing down. and we can see on the 12-hour it's just started pointing down and does have lots of room to go down. So these are following on from each other. The 1-hour has cooled off first, then the 2-hour, then the 4-hour, and now the 6-hour is almost cooled down all the way down to the bottom, and the 12-hour is following. So this does indicate to me that there is a good chance that we will have another drop down. The only one that's out of place is the daily here, which is already cooled off. But this could hang around the bottom here for a while the 12-hour does cool down and come all the way down. And then when they are all cooled off, we will see the 1-hour go up first, then the 2-hour, then the 4-hour, and then possibly that would be the bottom, and we'll see the price start going back up, trying to go towards new all-time highs. And quickly, just looking at the weekly chart, you can see the 21-week exponential moving average down at the 32.5 level. The next week will be opening in just a few days, and by then this average should be moved up to close to 34,000, and will also be in this area of the volume profile that has the most support, and also the 786 level on this fib retracement. We can see the RSI on the weekly has been working its way down. We had this bearish divergence with lower lows on the RSI, high highs on the price. And I do think we are going to come down to this red line here at the 53 level. And that's just based on the previous bull market where we did come down to this level several times. And we can see an example here where a similar thing happened. We had this bearish divergence, high highs on the price, lower highs on the weekly RSI. And then we did come down to touch this line as we zigzagged our way down. And just quickly, I just want to compare Link, Ethereum, Polkadot, and Bitcoin over the month of March. So just line that up. So currently in March, Link is up 18%, Ethereum 13%, Bitcoin 11%, and Polkadot 8.7%. And we'll just take a quick look at silver and gold. This is the silver chart, and going all the way back from the crash here, the financial crisis, we can see there is a trend line here connecting the bottoms with 3 or 4 touch points. So this is a valid trend line, and we see resistance at the top. When we did try to break it, went slightly above, but then got shut down pretty quickly. And I think it's important to hold this triangle if silver is to go higher. If we do break this level, we could see quite a big drop, but I'm not going to call that until we actually see it break. A measured move would be all the way down at $17, and a move to the upside would take silver all the way up to $38. This could take quite a long time to play out. This is on the weekly chart, and we can see the weekly stochastic RSI looks like it is just coming down, so that would be in confluence with a downward move, and the RSI is pretty much in the mid-range here, and there's no divergences here that I can see at the moment. And just looking at gold on the weekly, we can see it has come down quite a lot, and I've just got this fib drawn here. We can see we are approaching the golden pocket, which is at about 1680, 1670. So I am expecting a bounce here, and if we were to drop further, I'd be looking towards the 1580 level. But just looking at the RSI and the stochastic RSI on the weekly, we can see the stochastic RSI is completely cooled off. It is down all the way pretty much at a 3 level here. So I do think we're due for quite a good bounce here at the golden pocket. The RSI is all the way down at 37, and it has cooled off quite a lot, and is actually at its lowest point since August of 2018. We can also see here currently we have lower lows on the RSI and higher highs on the price action. So this is hidden bullish divergence. So I do think gold is due for a decent bounce. And just to point something out here, the previous all-time high for gold back in 2011, you can see we broke that, and now we're having trouble getting above it. But if you look at the previous cycle of gold, what we can see is this was the all-time high previously for gold back in 1980. And we can see when we did try to break this all-time high, what happened. We had trouble at the top, and we had this big drop until we bottomed out, and then we went higher. And we pretty much formed this head and shoulders pattern here. We can see the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. and then once we sort of got above the neckline here, came back down a little bit, but then that was where gold started taking off again. So I do see a lot of similarities between this pattern here and the current pattern. And in fact, if we were to overlay that pattern, we can see how similar it is. Some of the up and downs are a little bit different, but we can see that it pretty much cooled off a very similar amount before going higher. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll have to wait and see what happens to Bitcoin over the coming days and the coming weeks. See if we will complete that head and shoulders pattern and go a lot higher to new all-time highs, or whether we're going to go down back into the 30,000s with that AB equals CD pattern. And if you like this music, this is a song made by me and my friend Ashley, and you can check out his channel. It's called Theory of Ash, and I will put a link in the description. And I'll see you next time. I'll try to make some more videos more often and keep you up to date. So thanks for watching. I'm Bitcoin Mamo. See you later.